So for whatever reason, femininity is often associated with weakness, but it's actually one of the most powerful energies that you can tap into. So in this video, I'll be teaching you how to connect to the divine feminine and explain all the ways that being feminine is actually super empowering. So I just want to start off this video by saying that femininity has nothing to do with gender roles. It has nothing to do with whether or not the woman should be at home and the man at work. This is also not a political video. When I speak about femininity and masculinity, I'm simply talking about energies and characteristics. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have my notes. I just don't want to forget anything. So what's the difference between feminine energy and masculine energy? Feminine energy is the receiving energy. It's a very still energy. In contrast, masculinity is like the doing energy. It's always going, going, going. So both the masculine and the feminine are in all of us. We need both, but we typically gravitate towards one. Men typically gravitate towards masculinity and women typically gravitate towards the feminine. Now, this isn't always the case. Some men feel more comfortable in their feminine, some women more comfortable in their masculine, but for the most part, men typically associate with masculinity and women typically gravitate towards femininity. So what are the traits of the feminine? Like I said, the feminine energy is very still. It's the receiving energy. And traits that are associated with that energy are empathy. Think about how emotionally intelligent women are. Creation or creativity. Think about it, women's bodies literally create humans. So creativity is often associated with women. That's why it's called Mother Nature. It's the creation of life as a whole. It's not called Father Nature for a reason. The feminine also craves love and relationships, not just romantic, but with friendships, family. It's very important to the feminine that they have close relationships and people that they feel that they can talk to. The feminine is also very, very intuitive. Think about it. Like, we women, we know things and we don't even know why we know them sometimes. We just know. It's like a sixth sense that women typically have. So yeah, intuition is a major trait of the divine feminine. The feminine is also nurturing, passive, and also sensual. So what are some masculine traits? Masculinity is often associated with confidence, logic, being goal-oriented. Like I said, it's the doing energy. Focused, protective, courageous, assertive, conquering. Really, anything that has to do with going and doing and succeeding is associated with the masculine. So like I mentioned before, we all have both feminine and masculine traits. Because if you identify with the masculine, you can't always be in your masculine. You know, you can't just be like this workaholic that's always trying to go, go, go and do and succeed and not make time for your family, not make time for relationships. You do need time to kind of slow down, be still, and put your energy into building those relationships. And in order to build those relationships, you also need to adopt the feminine qualities, you know? You need to be, you know, empathetic if you want to build a relationship with your family or with your spouse. So you can't always be in your masculine. And if you identify with the feminine, you can't always be in your feminine 24/7 either. You're not going to get anything done like that. So that's where the goal-oriented, focused traits of the masculine come in handy. You're also going to run into situations where you need to be assertive so that people don't take advantage of you. So even though both the masculine and feminine are necessary, for whatever reason, masculinity is often the trait that is praised and femininity is often associated with weakness or just being lesser. Like women or anyone who identifies with the feminine, we've become accustomed to being in our masculine, especially when it comes to work. The workplace is often very, very masculine, and because of that, we've had to tap into our masculine. But we're required to do it so much that we often forget what it's like to be in our feminine. Like, you can still be a boss and have an amazing career and still be feminine, and I feel like that's what we often forget. So it's important to remind ourselves that being feminine is not weak at all. It's actually very, very powerful. And it's important for us to connect to our feminine because that's where we're gonna feel the most comfortable. So now I'm gonna name a few different ways of exactly how you can do that. Okay, so the first way you can connect to your feminine is by pampering yourself. So like I mentioned, the feminine energy is very slow, very still. So doing things like, you know, taking a bath, taking a little extra time on your makeup, doing a face mask, things that help you really slow down and relax can really help you connect to your feminine. So the next way to connect to your feminine is by loving your body. And I know that that's a lot easier said than done. It's very, very easy for women especially to pick at our bodies, especially with all the beauty standards that we're constantly being bombarded with, but it's very, very important. So get into the habit of focusing on what you actually like about your body. body. And loving your body isn't just about whether or not you like the physical appearance of your body, it's also about how you treat it. So the foods that you're putting in your body are very important. If you're exercising, staying hydrated, so it's all about loving how your body looks and also taking care of your body as well. And the reason that this is so important to connect to your feminine is because the divine feminine is, like I mentioned, sensual. And it's very hard to feel sensual or radiant or beautiful if you're thinking about how big your thighs look. So really, really try to not pay attention to those things and pay more attention to the things that you love. So my next tip is to learn to accept compliments and learn to accept help. So the divine feminine is the receiving energy. So it's important to get comfortable with receiving. So if somebody calls you beautiful, don't fight them on it, accept the compliment. And the same goes for accepting help. If somebody offers you help with something and you know that you are fully capable of doing it on your own, accept the help anyway. Just because you accept help, that in no way means that you are incapable of doing it yourself. So my next tip is to hang with other women or other people who identify with the feminine. What better way to connect to your feminine energy than surrounding yourself by it? I find that when I have a really good talk with one of my friends or one of my sisters, I feel really energized. I feel really recharged and refreshed, as long as what we're talking about is not about other people. Which brings me to my next tip, which is to avoid gossip. Now, I know that this is a lot easier said than done. It's very, very easy to get caught up in gossip and drama, but it's really, really something that you have to train yourself not to do, because the divine feminine is very nurturing and empathetic. So if you're talking badly about someone else, you're not being very nurturing and not very empathetic either. So you're automatically gravitating away from the feminine energy. So my next tip is to beautify your space. So the divine feminine is very warm and nurturing and inviting. So you can connect to that energy by nurturing your home and making it look inviting and warm and cozy. I love to burn candles. I sometimes burn sage, and sometimes I like to buy flowers for my room. So doing anything that makes your home or your room feel very warm, nurturing, and inviting, do that. And my last tip for connecting to your divine feminine is being creative. So like I mentioned earlier, creation is associated with the feminine. They call it Mother Nature because it's the creation of life. So do things that make you feel creative. It could be drawing, it could be writing, it could be singing, it could even be knitting. For me personally, I'm creative when I make these YouTube videos. So really anything that works for you and anything that makes you feel creative is really, really good for connecting to your divine feminine. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you next time.